welcome you all on the session on microencapsulation. In the today's session, we are going to discuss the new chapter, that is the microencapsulation. So let us move towards the microencapsulation. So the content of microencapsulation, it includes the definition, advantages, disadvantages, then microspheres or microcapsules, microparticles, methods of microencapsulation, along with its applications. So let us see the learning objectives. So you will be able to define microencapsulation. That is, what is meant by the microencapsulation. You will be able to write advantages and disadvantages of microencapsulation. You will be able to formulate microspheres and microcapsules using different methods or different techniques, technologies, or the systems. And you will be able to describe applications of microencapsulation. Once again, I'm going to repeat the learning objectives. You will be able to define microencapsulation. You will be able to write advantages and disadvantages of microencapsulation. You will be able to formulate microspheres and microcapsules using different methods. You will be able to describe applications of microencapsulation. Let us see to see the introduction related with the microencapsulation and its definition. So what is mean by the microencapsulation? Yes, so microencapsulation is a process in which gaseous, liquid, or solid agents can be embedded in a carrier matrix, or this is the carrier matrix, or in a shell material. So this is the shell material. Look at the figure, shell material by which new product with a customized characteristics can be produced. So this is the general definition of the microencapsulation. So microencapsulation, it is a process in which gaseous, liquid, or solid agents can be embedded in a carrier matrix or in a shell material by which new products with a customized characteristics can be produced. Related with the drug delivery system, it is a simply process in which the fine particles of solids or droplets of liquids ranging from 1 to 5,000 microns are covered with the thin film of coating material. So this is the A, this is the matrix system, B, that is the reservoir system. So whatever the product which is obtained after this process, that is known as the microparticles. So A figure, it is related with the microspheres. Look at the figure. These are the spherical in nature. That's why it is known as the microspheres, or the microcapsules, which is having a diameter ranging between 1 micron to 1000 micron, isn't it? So the particle size or the diameter of the obtained particles or the microcapsules, it is ranging between 1 micron to 1000 micrometer. If the size it is above 1000 micrometer, then it is said to be the macroparticles, isn't it? When the size range it is ranging between 1 micrometer to 1000 micrometer, then and then only it is said to be the microparticles. So whatever the product which is obtained at the end of microencapsulation product, at the end of microencapsulation, it is possible to incorporate into the different dosage forms such as a solids, semi-solids, or liquid. In the case of solids, It is a capsule, tablet, or sachet. In the case of semi-solids, it's a gel, creams, or paste, or liquids as a solution, suspension, or even in the parenterals. Means even though it is possible to give the micro-encapsulated product by the parenteral route. So this is about the microencapsulation. Let us move towards and now we will see encapsulation, why encapsulation systems are required or designed, why microencapsulations, or the reason behind the microencapsulation. So the encapsulation system, it is designed to trigger the release of selected active ingredient during application, deliver a tailored release profile to suit formulation and application, prevent unwanted interaction between ingredients during the mixing of components, mask undesirable components like sharp taste or low fat element, protect ingredients from oxidation during the application, maybe eating, ingestion, or spraying, extend the shelf life of product. So these are the few reasons to go for the microencapsulation. Why to microencapsulate the drug? So very first thing, that is to trigger the release of selected active ingredient during the application. That is one of the important thing related with the microencapsulation. To deliver a tailored release profile to suit the formulation and application. So it is possible to get the controlled release by using the microencapsulated product. It is possible to modify the release of the drug according to our need, isn't it? To prevent unwanted interaction between the ingredients during the mixing of the components. Whenever we are in the formulation, we are mixing more than 2 to 3 components in each other, and sometimes there may be the incompatibilities between the ingredients. So it is possible to prevent such incompatibilities, to mask the undesirable test of the product, test of the API, to protect the ingredients from oxidation during the application, and to extend the shelf life of product, that is stability of the product. So in all, look at the figure. So it is broadly the reasons divided into the 3 categories, that is material structuration, product protection, and control release. So very first one, that is a material structuration. So in this, the structuration for administering compounds that are insoluble, that are volatile, reactive, or hygroscopic in nature. So it is possible to deliver, possible to administer compounds which are insoluble in nature, the compounds which are volatile in nature, which are very reactive, or which are hygroscopic in nature. Look at the nearby figure. So if the compound is insoluble, if it is highly reactive, if it is volatile in nature, and if it is hygroscopic in nature, in such cases it is possible to enclose all these things into the microencapsulated product. Then a product protection. Protection of product from environmental factors such as oxygen, such as light, heat, humidity, then pH, and host immunosystem. So look at the figure once again. So these are the few things which are going to alter the stability of the API. That is the humidity, then the pH, environmental pH, physiological pH, then the oxygen, environmental oxygen, then the light, and so on. So it is possible to get the improve the product stability. Then controlled release of product for targeted delivery, for extended therapeutic effect, and increase the product half-life. So these are the 3 important things related with the microencapsulation. So why to go for microencapsulation? Broadly, it is as for the material structuration, then product protection, and controlled release, which is related with the active pharmaceutical ingredient. So it is possible for structuration for administering compounds that are insoluble, volatile, reactive, and hygroscopic, Product protection, that is protection of product from environmental factors, that is oxygen, light, heat, humidity, pH, and host immune system. Then to get the controlled release of product for targeted delivery, which is going to extend the therapeutic effect of API by increasing the product half-life. So encapsulation systems are designed to trigger the release of the selected active ingredient during the application, to deliver a tailored release profile to suit formulation and application, to prevent unwanted interaction between ingredients during the mixing of components, mask undesirable components like its test or fat elements, protect ingredients from oxidation during the application, and extend the shelf life of product. So these are the few reasons for the microencapsulation, or we are converting the API into the microencapsulated product. So this is about the reasons of microencapsulation, why encapsulation is done, why we are going for the encapsulation, or what are the goals of encapsulation, simply you can say. So let us move towards the advantages of microencapsulation. Yes, the advantages, let us discuss the advantages related with the experts and the patients. So it is a choice of dosage form for the desired drug delivery route. For example, per oral tablet or parenteral injections. It is possible to prepare the per oral tablets of the microencapsulated product, as well as it is possible to prepare the parenteral injections, isn't it? We are getting the modified and targeted even site-specific drug release and delivery. If we are using the different polymers for designing of microencapsulated product, depending on their physicochemical properties, it is possible to target the specific site, it is possible to target specific tissues, it is possible to target specific organ depending on the size of the microparticle. More expectable pharmacokinetics with a reduced intra and inter-subject variability. When we are preparing the modified drug delivery systems as a simply matrix tablets or the certain modified release capsules, there might be the inter and intra individual variability we are getting, isn't it? But when we are formulating the API as a microencapsulated product, we are getting pharmacokinetics with a reduced intra and inter-subject variability in the pharmacokinetics. More homogeneous distribution in the physiological environment as it is having a very low particle size. Stable fixed dose combinations of drug. It is possible to prepare the fixed dose combinations product by using the microencapsulation technology. Then the dose titration and less dose dumping. As you know that in the case of controlled drug delivery tablets, simple tablets as a matrix or reservoir, there might be chances of once the reservoir gets busted, at once the drug is going to be released at a site of administration. But if we have prepared the microencapsulated product, the chances of dose dumping, it is very, very low, as there are so many particles are coated over there, isn't it? If the, say for example, the 10% of particles gets felt, and almost 90% of particles retains their integrity, and which controls the drug release. The total system is not going to be fell in the case of microencapsulation. Then whatever the product is there, it is a patient centrically through the better compliance and the adherence. So in the case of microencapsulated product, we are getting the better patient compliance, isn't it? Then the individual therapy. It is possible to get the individualized therapy for pediatric or geriatric population. It is possible to improve the stability of medicinal preparations. As already we have discussed, it is possible to improve the stability of the API, isolating the constituents to ensure better compatibility. That is one of the important thing. As you know that there are certain APIs are there, they are acidic in nature, they are basic in nature. Then sometimes it is necessary to combine these things in the one formulation, and it is not at all possible while preparing the conventional formulation. But in the case of microencapsulated product, it is possible to isolate the constituents to ensure the better compatibility. Then innovative product with a prolonged life cycle through patent protection. That is one of the important thing. Whatever product we are getting, it is a innovative product, and product life cycle, it is going to be increased by the patent protection. So these are the certain advantages related with the experts and patients. So these are the certain advantages of microencapsulation. Let us see the remaining advantages of the microencapsulation, which are related with the technology. So related with the technology, very first advantage is that to protect the core from the environment. For example, vitamin A. So when we are coating the vitamin A, the stability of vitamin A, it is going to be enhanced. There is a barrier between the vitamin A and the environment, and which will improve the stability of the vitamin A, protecting the body from the side effects. And it is also possible to mask an unpleasant taste of the drug, for example, ofloxacin. So in all, it protects the active pharmaceutical ingredient from the environmental oxidation or change in a temperature, change in pH, or body from the irritative or mucosal damaging effect of the drug substance. It preserves the volatile materials like methyl salicylate, or it is going to improve the viability of the cells. It separates the incompatible substances, as already we have seen. The example is aspirin and chlorpheniramine. Then optimizing, prolonging, or targeting the effect of drug and conversion of liquid to pseudosolids. The example is prazinone. So in all, the technology related advantages are it is going to protect the core from the environment. That is, the example is vitamin A, protecting the body from side effects, masking the unpleasant taste, for example, ofloxacin, preserving volatiles like methyl salicylate or the viability of the cells, separating incompatible substances like aspirin and chlorpheniramine, optimizing, prolonging, or targeting the effect of a drug, conversion of liquid to pseudosolids like prazinone. So in all, it is going to protect the active pharmaceutical ingredient from the environmental oxidation, change in a temperature or pH, or body from the irritative or mucosa damaging effect of the drug substance. As one of the important thing is that related with the microencapsulation, there is a dose is distributed in a many small separate particles which carries and liberate a part of a dose, and hence the malfunction of an individual subunit does not cause the failure of whole dosage form. As we are incorporating more than or number of particles in a one dosage forms, isn't it? So many particles involved, and each particle is coated. Suppose that the single particle fails, it doesn't mean that the whole system is going to be fail. Already we have discussed on the previous slide, isn't it? So these are the few advantages of microencapsulation. Let us move towards the disadvantages of microencapsulation. So very first disadvantage, that is related with the skilled manpower. Second one, that is a high production cost. Third one, biocompatibility and biodegradability. Fourth one, that is related to the hygroscopic drug. Then difficulties to form the film, and possibility of cross reaction between core and shell material. So let us discuss one by one. Very first one, that is a skill manpower. Yes, definitely the more skill and knowledge is required to prepare the microparticles or microencapsulated product, as the production cost is very high, because more expensive excipients in the formulation. That is one reason. Second is that more sophisticated equipments and processes, as well as stricter quality control is required, and that ultimately that increases the production cost. Then the biocompatibility and biodegradability, as some of the constituents may not meet the requirement of the biocompatibility or the biodegradability, certain polymers, then certainly the organic solvents which are used during the microencapsulation, then certain hardening material, that is the cross linkers. In the case of hygroscopic drug, the shelf life of these drugs is going to be reduced when we are microencapsulating the hygroscopic drug. It is difficult to achieve the continuous and uniform film on the product. Then the last one, that is a possibility of cross reaction between the core and shell material. There might be chances of some incompatibilities between the polymer coat and the components which are present in the core. So the disadvantages of microencapsulation are the skilled manpower, more skill and knowledge is required to get the microencapsulated product. High production cost, as it is the higher product cost is due to the more expensive excipients in the formulation, or to the more sophisticated equipment and processes, as well as the stricter quality control. Then the biocompatibility and biodegradability, some constituents may not meet the requirements for the biocompatibility and biodegradability. Then there are some drugs which are hygroscopic in nature, so shelf life of these drugs are going to be reduced. It is difficult to achieve the continuous and uniform film, and possibility of cross reaction between the core and shell material. So this is about the disadvantages of the microencapsulation. Hope all of you have understood the definition of microencapsulation, then general introduction about the microencapsulation, then goals of microencapsulation, advantages of microencapsulation, and disadvantages of microencapsulation.